All right, are you ready to finally be done with this shitty comic book once and for all?
We finally finished reviewing these comics once and for all.
Too much Energon.
Too much Energon, like this podcast.
The beasts are here, McLeod, for the gathering.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings, Megatron.
Then they'd better stay out of my way. Blah, 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 blah. Beast Wars once and for all.
Big time Gary himself.
Man, these things look like toys.
Maximal! Maxima! Does that mean transform?
Cheetor, what have you done? I am transformed.
Sigma balls, Gary. Oh, no. Not that. Ah!
Good evening, children of the Vok. Welcome to episode 126 of Too Much Energon, the podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars, coming to you live from a mysterious floating mountain, somewhere hidden on planet Energon. I am, as always, the Siege, one of your hosts.
And from the locker rooms, it's NeoCal. Oh, by God, he's getting attacked by the Predacons.
What is going on this week, Cal? How are things? What's new and exciting?
Oh, new and exciting. I feel like it's a good week, but I can't report about what's new and exciting.
Oh, is it a secret?
No, I just can't think of anything.
Fair enough. Are we gonna get some torrid details?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, I just can't think of anything.
Oh no!
I started learning how to play Stellaris.
Oh, how's that going?
So I've got that going for me, which is nice.
Wait, is that space sim game?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot to it. It's one of those like like if you think Civ is like complex, this is it's something else. But
okay,
once I got over the,
I'm thinking of a different game. The game that I'm thinking of is this like space fighter like simulation game, which I actually like.
Elite Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous. I actually wasted like $30 on that like 5 or 6 years ago on Xbox One, and I tried playing it for like an hour and couldn't figure out what the fuck to do. I'm like, this is way too much for me. Too much. Even.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is way too much. Can I get a refund? And
Came out on
like,
Epic.
Microsoft's like, no.
No, fuck you. It was out on one of the like monthly or weekly free games on Epic. And I picked it up and I played it a couple hours and I was like, cool, would be great for somebody who's got like 100 hours a week of like free time, like any of those big long like space opera at like a Eve Online.
Right.
Man, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I spent about an hour playing and I'm just like trying. I shit you not, I couldn't even figure out how to get my spaceship to power.
I was going to accelerate. Say, I guarantee you didn't even get out of the bay. If you only played for an hour, you didn't even get out of the fucking bay.
And at the end of it, I'm like, well, this is why I'm not in NASA.
And only that reason.
And only that reason.
For the same reason we're not the writers of the Beast Wars comic.
Because what you're saying is the writer of this comic is at writing Beast Wars comic is equally as inept as I would be sitting in the cockpit of a spaceship.
Siege trying to figure out how to play Elite Dangerous feels like certain friend of the show that I won't mention, which I probably won't mention because I mentioned his name like 1,000 times.
Friend quote of the show.
Yeah. Is kind of like him at the helm of this comic is a lot like Siege at the helm in Elite Dangerous, just like pulling levers and like pressing like buttons and mashing his keyboard before literally, and we'll get into it, saying fuck it. Literally, the writer says fuck it at the end of this. Oh, sorry, literally, in the new way, literally, like Man,
He basically says, you know, fuck it, who cares?
well, yeah, we'll get. Yeah, I've got some things to say.
Things to say are
About
good. This is a podcast after all.
yeah.
Things are
Some
good to say in
entertaining
audio.
things to say. What about you? Anything fun and exciting in the Siegeville? I mean,
Oh,
it's hard to beat learning how to play Stellaris. If you could top that.
I went and saw The Flash recently,
Oh shit. He
uh,
topped it.
which I actually really liked. Uh, it was pretty. The action sequences were pretty interesting to watch. The visual effects were neat. The way that movie visualizes time travel is actually like quite unique and not like anything I've ever seen.
Here's the thing. I really like time travel shit. So
So do I. It's great to
maybe
see
I should
Michael
watch it.
Keaton back as Batman, and it even during action sequences plays the Danny Elfman theme. The yeah,
Really?
I shit you not. I was like, that's great. That's a nice touch.
I like that.
Ezra Miller, despite being a very problematic individual, gives the performance of their career,
Huh,
and actually like had me in tears at the end of the film. That's a big old the Flash gets a big old too much energon from me.
damn. Well, we
And
haven't given something that rating in. Have we given too much energon to any of 2021's IDW issues?
I don't think so. No. I was about to say, well, now that I've given the Flash too much energon, that has been episode 126 of Too Much Energon. Best way to support the show. No, let's
You know what would be funny for April Fools? Although I guess I'm revealing my hand here, is if we actually do cover like the Beastmaster or Ultimate Beastmaster.
I know we've joked about that since like day one, like doing
I know
April
we've made
Fools.
that joke, but then it's just like, okay, well, we have time to record. Should we record something that has nothing to do with our user base or what we review, or should we actually use this time to record? And
Our
we
fan
always
base. Yeah.
fan base, yeah.
We have fans.
And we always record what they're actually here for.
Whether they want it or not. Yes.
Yes. And you know what I don't want? An alliance with Primal. No.
And on that note, this is episode 126 of Too Much Energon, and this week we are talking about Transformers Beast Wars, number 17 from IDW Comics, which was originally published on June 22nd of 2022.
Yeah, so almost what is it? It's July. How?
Just over
It
a year
feels
ago
like
now.
June 20th.
This was around the time I got COVID for the first time. And I'm saying it right here. I got COVID because this comic existed. This comic came into existence, that's how I got COVID.
Because your soul was wounded so much by how bad it was.
Yeah.
Your
I hadn't
psychosomatic. You were so distraught by how bad this was. Your immune system.
I hadn't even read it yet at that point. But you know what happened? If you watch the beginning of Zack Snyder's Justice League, not the theatrical cut, but Zack Snyder's Justice League, after Superman gets stabbed, impaled by Doomsday, he lets out this very like thunderous, like supersonic scream that like meta people all over the world hear. They don't know what it is, but they know something's wrong. So when this comic hit store shelves, that basically happened, and that like completely like fucked me up so bad without me
There's a
even realizing it.
disturbance in like Earth Realm.
Yeah. It fucked me up so bad without me even realizing it that I got COVID a couple days later.
Holy shit.
And now that I've said COVID, this episode will be delisted from Spotify.
Really?
It's happened.
Even talking about its existence, not the ethics or practices.
I think their algorithm just picks up the word COVID, and as soon as it detects it, it like flags it. Yeah, because we recorded an episode while I had COVID, and I talked about having it. And yeah, that episode ended up getting removed from Spotify.
Okay,
Imagine
Spotify.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't listen to us on Spotify, you can come on to YouTube.
Or
You know
on
who you can listen
or
to
on
them?
Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music Podcasts,
That's
or
right.
Stitcher, or a whole bunch of other services I've never even heard of. But I know
That's
they're
right, but
there.
it's out there.
I know we're there.
Yeah, because he paid to get us out there. God damn it.
Because I paid to get us out there, yes.
That's what the Patreon dollars get, folks.
Yep. Pretty much. Kind
You
of.
know what the Patreon
Sort of.
dollars
They
don't get?
they have bought, the Patreon money has bought us these god awful comics in the past. But now,
Which we couldn't even buy at some point.
which I've mentioned before, eventually once IDW lost the license, not only did they lose the license apparently to keep publishing these comics, they lost the license to sell them digitally at all. So these comics just aren't available anymore. So if you didn't read them, you've missed your chance. Yes. Or if you really want,
no.
oh no. Or if you really want, you can hit me up and I can share the scanned copies that I have, courtesy of a listener.
Yeah.
It's not piracy. It's not piracy.
It's file sharing.
If the thing isn't legally available anymore.
Really? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not really piracy because the thing just isn't available anymore. This is being an archivist, damn it.
That's right.
Notice we're stalling, right? So I'm kind of stalling here because well, there are a million other things I would rather talk about than this comic.
So where we left off was a big mess. There was a zombie pterosaur.
Yeah.
Somehow Tarantulas allied with the Vok.
Yeah.
Which what would the Vok have to gain from allying with when they're inferior life forms? What's the point? What happened? Scorponok was killed. Who was stunned? The rest of the people at the Predacon at the dark side, they were stunned somehow.
Speaking of people being killed, do you remember Polar Claw getting killed back in issue 15? Polar Claw and Saberback?
Yeah.
Well, they're just alive and part of the fight again in this issue.
Just a taste of things to come on the impeccable writing on this final issue. Characters that died 2 issues ago are alive, and not because of like Vok magic or anything like that. They're just
it's like the writer and artist just forgot that they were dead.
Yeah. They're trying to whip these things out as painless as possible. And but again, here's the thing. Just looking at some of the art, I wish I could take the speech bubbles away. It's like a page where it zooms out and it shows all the beasts like fighting. It's beautiful. Right. God damn, I like that shot with Dinobot blasting into like this, somehow not hitting anything. By the way, it's like 15 like Vok loyalists, I guess, is what we're gonna call them. Vok. Well, children of the Vok. They're children of the Vok is what they call themselves.
Well, you know, our age-old canon of like the most destructive force in all of the Beast Wars universe is just eye lasers looking up and doing a 360 head spin.
That's right.
The reason why Dinobot didn't hit anything is because that's not what he was doing in this issue.
That's right. Oh, that's going way back.
That's going back to like single-digit episodes of TME.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know why. I just
seen it.
I just
most
thought
powerful attack in the entire Beast Wars universe, and we haven't seen it yet.
I don't know why. I just thought of that and felt like referencing it.
Yeah, I had forgotten about it. So what do we got? We have a samurai battle between Primal and Tigatron. I'm making it sound way cooler than it actually is. Calm down. But they have a I guess Tigatron has a sword. And so
Well,
does Primal.
the toy comes with a tail whip type thing. So
Kind
I
of like
mean,
Cheetor.
yeah, kind of like cheater. You
But in this, it's a straight edged, like it's like a long.
Shaba.
It's a, in this, both Primal and again could be the artist's style. Of the artist that Siege isn't fond of, that I actually really like. At least this issue is fucking sick. They both have like basically they're immortals hashing it out. And I'm like, why do both of them have a sword? I don't care. T for some reason, Megatron is like arguing with a bunch of the children of the Vok,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, why don't you just leave the planet? This isn't your world. You won't get to leave if we can't kill you."
But
And
it is our world. Were we not born here?
I was born and it molded by it. This is my planet. And then Megatron Shazaks some people with the mouth laser.
On the next page, Cheetor says something that I find is just such a like hokey and terribly written line. Look at this! These aren't nigh omnipotent energy monsters.
No, they're just other beast formers.
On the latest installment of No One Talks Like That, dear writer.
Okay, so look at this. These aren't nigh omnipotent energy monsters. And then because he's besties with Black Arachnia now, they still outnumber us 5-1. Isn't that enough?
Well, and this
and
is
I'm
also
like, do they?
This is
There's
also
like 5 of them.
This is also dumb too, because like Cheetor seems like disappointed because he wanted to fight the like energy gods.
Because on the next page, it's like, it doesn't make me feel any better about spending the last couple of cycles, 2 days, 2 hours. There's another cycle joke at the end of this that I'm going to make.
2 hours, 2 minutes. Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he's like, but we spent the last couple of cycles modifying our weapons to fight energy monsters. I can't remember the term in show business, but when you yada yada something that happened off screen, is it Deus Ex? It's shown them working and researching it, but just this is the writer telling us, hey, they finished those weapons, which is fine. Because again, like they had a limited number of issues. So at this point, they're like hurrying the plot.
I just find it like really dumb that Cheetor is like all disappointed that he's not fighting the like.
Oh man, we're not fighting omnipotent gods that can destroy us with their thoughts. Bummer.
We're just fighting like useless protoforms.
Not even protoforms.
So lame.
Like wild beast formers that were like programmed by the Vok, but also not, as we find out later. Question mark.
They were protoforms at one point.
Well, that's true, actually.
Yeah. So Rat Trap and Waspinator
talk a bunch.
They talk a bunch. None of what they say even really matters, but they're working on this big like.
There's a lot of text that kind of doesn't matter. They're working on a super weapon. Rat Trap. It's in the shuttle, by the way. The shuttle to the Axelon.
Yeah.
And
it's in the Axelon itself.
Oh, they get the actual Axelon to fly? Oh, you're right. It's not the little shuttle. It's the big.
In this comic, the Axelon isn't stuck there. They're just staying there.
Oh, they just can't get it spaceborne because they're the drivers, the
transwarp drive.
Drivers.
I thought in this comic, like the Predacon base was disabled. But the Axelon isn't. They're just choosing to stay there because they need to deal with the Predacons.
And bring Megatron back.
Yeah.
Right.
Listeners, if I'm misremembering this, like,
who cares?
God awful comic, let me know, but also who cares?
Right. Maybe they're choosing to stay there. Yeah. But I like Waspinator and Rat Trap together. I kind of wish there were more issues of Cheetor talking with Black Arachnia and Scold hanging out with Nyx, and because that's kind of the best it's ever been. And
Speak,
Rat
speak,
Trap with Waspinator, yeah.
speaking of Scold, Scold is getting attacked by zombie Pterosaur,
Stop,
and
we could be friends. Oh, you mean the right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they don't believe her, and then she gets zapped by something. I don't know what, and she's paralyzed.
it's zombie Pterosaur.
He has paralyzing lasers, eye lasers, I guess.
No,
Weird that it
they're his hands. If you look, like she
right
gets
Iron
shot,
Man hands. You're
and he
right.
has like glowing, and
That's
like
what
the glowing things on his hands have like smoke coming off of them.
I see. I see. Again, the art. I see that clearly now. Um,
I mean, to be quite frank, I wouldn't fault like you or literally anyone for missing anything in this comic, because the comic is just such a
it's a thing.
this issue in particular, like more this issue it isn't as rage inducing for me as
It's
previous
not
issues.
rage inducing, actually.
This
Not
comic
nearly.
this comic was just very much a nothing. This issue was a nothing burger for me. And spoilers for my rating at the end of this issue, but like I didn't hate it. I was just, maybe I'm just like, I've like stopped caring
You've accepted.
so much
It,
that I'm just like reading
You're
it and I'm
done?
like, uh-huh.
oh yeah,
Okay,
that's stupid. Cool.
Next page.
It wasn't as rage inducing because it doesn't break its own world. It doesn't break its own rules.
Rhinox shows up in beast mode and saves Skull.
I like that Scold is like, oh no, I can't move, Pterosaur Chan. Oh, if you're going to take me fast. Just put me out of my misery. And Rhinox like shows up to be badass finally. And
That
he's
wasn't
like,
the way that wasn't the way that I read that exchange going down, but
I'm spicing it up, folks. It's the way she turns her head and she's like, oh, I can't move my arms. Oh, if you're going to kill me, make it fast. And then Rhinox
make
comes
it
out of nowhere.
fast. Slowly.
And Rhinox comes out of nowhere and he's like, yeah, if you can still talk, you can restart your system. I've got a bone to pick. Now, you know me, I'm a pacifist, but when it comes to zombies, I got a bone to pick. And he fights zombie Pterosaur.
Well, well, it's like I always say, old enough to plead, old enough to breed.
I know you didn't make that up yourself, which is the sad part.
Hey, I said old enough to plead.
Oh, old enough to plead.
Old enough to breed. So yes, I did make it up myself.
Okay, that's much less bad as what I thought it was. There's a scene with Nyx. She gets tackled by Bird Mom. Right. So there's some bird on bat action.
Apparently this mosquito guy, I thought it was Transquito, but apparently his name is Jetstorm, according to the TF wiki.
He's a dragonfly.
Oh, he's a dragon. Whatever. I thought he was a mosquito.
How could one tell the difference? He doesn't have a proboscis.
That's true, yeah.
But
he has.
Doesn't matter. He's in like 2 panels. He's shot by Nyx. Tigatron says some Tigatron bullshit. At least that part feels in character.
I find the shot of like Captain Ron like holding.
I knew you were.
Beast mode Tigatron, just like the look on Tigatron's face. I find that shot really funny.
Yeah, it's a good profile picture. That stupid fucking face on Tigatron. I should cut a circle out and make that a profile picture, because a lot of profile pictures are circles now.
Yeah,
that would fit perfectly in a circle.
I like artist Eric Burnham's. I like his animal faces that he draws. Or Josh
Burnham,
Eric Burnham and Josh Burcham.
Burcham, damn it, Josh Burcham. Yeah, I like his animal faces a lot.
Yeah, his animal faces are usually either cute or funny, or both.
Yeah, we've the only times we've shared like art on like Twitter or on the Discord or anything, it's been because of the faces.
Yeah,
like my favorite is when they're all riding. What is it? I can't remember. There's a bunch of it in there. But anyways, a gorilla like karate kicks a tiger, which is a great shot. Again, like the art and the paneling, like if I was just judging that on its own, I actually couldn't praise it enough.
I like
But unfortunately, you got to follow a writer.
I like the shot at the panel at the bottom of this page where Megatron is like shacking. I guess he's like
Shazacking, yeah.
He yeah, Shazak. Yeah. He's Shazaking. Like he's doing his like T-Rex head mouth laser like at the ground while he's also like very matter of factly like holding up his finger talking.
Oh yes, casually killing someone off in the corner of the panel.
Oh, yes, an interesting sentiment indeed. Yes.
Shazak. Shazak, by the way, people, is what the artist writes inside of the mouth of the inside of the laser coming out of the T-Rex head.
Yeah, it's the
that's what we mean by Shazaking.
It's the onomatopoeia in this particular issue for the
I love
T-Rex head mouth laser thingy.
I love how the artist does the sound effects in these issues. It's often in the shape. It's in the dust after a laser misses. It's in the shape of a punch or a kick. It's some of the better stuff I've seen, which again, a shame because it's combined with some of the worst writing I've seen. But
the Tarantulas is being all like, look at this, everyone is fighting. It's great. I'm gonna go work for the Vok. Woohoo!
Which so in a extremely out of character fucking line from Tarantulas, instead of going and like planning something or retreating into the shadows, he's on top of the dark side watching and like reveling in the chaos, something Tarantulas doesn't like. He's very about like plans and backup plans and machinations laying undetected. He's never just about chaos, which is whatever.
What in the absolute fuck is his motivation here?
Oh, he says it. Here it is. So he says, look at the beautiful chaos. The Maximals and Predacons fighting the children of the Vok in a glorious ballet of violence. Okay. And then someone I do like the writing for, Black Arachnia, shows up. And she's like, enjoy this, cuck, and like trips him from behind. And she's got a personal thing against him.
Right.
Everybody should, but she does. She's like, you thought you could escape? And he somehow gets away and he's like, yes, I will escape. I have sent a message to Cybertron through Unspace. They will come for me and I will take my wisdom to the future and then I will rule. And I'm like, what? Did I miss a whole issue here?
Yeah,
the Tripredicate, what information could he bring to the Tripredicus Council that would lead him to believe he could become the ruler of Cybertron?
Yeah, this, and maybe, I don't know, you could chalk this up to the fact that the comic was canceled unceremoniously because of them losing the license, so he had to like kind of try and tie up loose ends. You could chalk it up to that, but I also like I'm not really willing to assume that every like gaping like plot hole big enough for like the biggest like headcanon you can possibly think of to fit through. I'm not willing to believe that like any of that can be explained away by this being rushed because the writing has just consistently been garbage from day one in this comic.
And here's the thing. We have a Beast Wars podcast, folks. There's plot holes in every single
We have a Beast Wars podcast. You don't say.
Right. And in this Beast Wars podcast,
one person is just like, what the fuck have I been listening to for the past 3 years?
What? Yeah, fuck this. You may have noticed that there's plot holes in a lot of it, but there's a difference between plot holes where like, they didn't think about this, or oh, they just left that plot. Like they left that alone. They didn't like touch back on something. That's fine. There's a difference between plot holes and like whatever fucking this is. Which is what we're trying to say here. Oh yeah, the Vox show up.
Speaking of whatever this is, the Vox show up, and
Their text bubbles have different colors.
hello, Maximals and Predacons. It is time once again for the Pakak Attack Snack Pack to prevail. Ooh.
You Cybertronians are all too disruptive, too unpredictable. We thought we could teach a proper way to some of you. So we will wipe this planet clean and start from scratch. And immediately this makes enemies of the children of the Vox.
Of the Vox.
And
Tigatron
kind
is
of
like
this part.
Tigatron is like, but masters, we served you so loyally. I don't know why I'm using that voice, but
Everyone wondering that's Siege's voice for the beast,
the kingdom,
Galavar.
Yeah,
Galavar's voice in War for Cybertron Kingdom.
Yes,
Lord Megatron.
My Vox masters, but why would you betray us? I've served you so loyalty, my lords.
I sucked your dick.
I even swallowed. I never do that.
And Galavar raises his fist and he's like, because they are base cowards, Tigatron. Will you, Vox, prove me wrong? Will you face us on equal terms? Go on, transform, fight me, hand to hand. Pussy. And they're like, nah. And to be fair, they say, why would we disadvantage ourselves like that?
Right.
We're not stupid.
Despite the small bit of damage the Cybertronians have done to it, our Energon-powered reversion device is still operable and ready to wipe out all life from the face of this world.
And this is where it gets tongue-in-cheek, because we find out that the floating island... So one of them says, I still say we should have put the device on one of the moons. And then the other one says, every world we come to, you want to put a failsafe into a moon. It's impractical, Tonrar. They have names. I don't care what they are. But I'm sure in some universe... Wink.
Wink!
In some universe it's been done. Wait, I can hear something approaching. I hear it too. It sounds like a ship.
My eyes rolled back so far that I fell out of my chair. They rolled out of my skull and all the way to the other side of the room.
I know, and this man celebrate me. Like that song, Other Side, by Red Hot Chili Peppers. The omnipotent, teleporting, can see everything all at once Vox don't know that a ship is coming. And
one of them, Tonrar.
Right away, it doesn't even show the fucking Tonrar.
Tonrar, Pakak.
No, it's Pakak that's killed. Anyways, off screen, a giant laser comes and they go, hoo-ha, and just died. And it's like,
it's Pakak who got destroyed. Yeah.
They killed Pakak. His energies have become one with unspace. I don't know why I'm talking like Galavar. No, I mean, not Galavar, Megatron. And then to explain to us, the viewer, but also to Rat Trap and Waspinator, who are placeholders for the viewer.
They've managed to weaponize their transwarp technology. They can't possibly have known how to do that. Yeah.
Okay. They're really... Eric is really trying to compete with how badly the Vox were written in Beast Wars. I see. And so maybe in that sense, he is sticking to canon.
So, listeners, so what happens here is the Axelon, they've somehow done some bullshit with the transwarp drive to make it shoot out a beam of unspace that destroys these energy gods.
These energy gods.
When I was reading this comic in real time, and I've made this joke a lot because I'm a big Star Trek fan. I've made this joke a lot over various different recordings that we've done over the years. I messaged Cal and I was like, they quite
In all
literally
caps.
they quite literally fucking diverted all power to the deflector dish. That's basically
It
just
doesn't
what
say
they
how.
did here. That's
They
basically
just
what they.
unplugged some things. It showed them talking earlier.
But this is some Star Trek bullshit. They basically they took power from the engines, put it into the deflector dish, shot out a beam that like made
to interact with unspace through the transwarp drive
that made the alien like disappear. It's happened in like a million episodes of Star Trek. But it's just like I've been making jokes about that for years now. And like in this fucking comic, in the final issue.
Give Beast, and to give Beast
comic.
Wars and Beast Machines credit, it usually tries to explain it's Clark Tech. It's technology that resembles magic. It tries to base it in some sort of does it? I don't know, man.
No,
we read
really.
IDW's old run of the comics too, and they were like unspace, transwarp,
my
magnets,
point,
and that.
My point is that they take a Star Trek,
they do
like a very contrived like Star Trek like plot conceit that's used as like kind of a scapegoat in numerous episodes, and they basically just do the same thing here.
It's the Deus Ex Machina of, well, there's so much sci-fi bullshit that you can just say, you know, divert energy through here, run it through here, polarize the energy through the reverse, blah, 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 and bada bing, bada boom, you got an unspace laser.
See, this is barely sci-fi, though. Like, this dude doesn't know how to write sci-fi. Not only does he
it's barely sci-fi.
It's barely sci-fi. Like, not only does he not know how to write Beast Wars, he doesn't know how to write sci-fi at all.
No.
And the fact that he pulled
one would say he doesn't know how to write at all.
I mean, the fact that he pulled out like one of the oldest like tricks that you could see in like any random like episode bad syndicated episode of Star Trek, the fact that he pulled that out of his back pocket, as like the way of like tying up like the way of like getting rid of like the big bads that he's been building to since the beginning of this fucking comic. It's like, no, you don't know how to write sci-fi. You don't know how to write Beast Wars. You don't know how to write period.
And I think the terms put a lantern on it. He immediately does that. Yeah. He's like, but, and because Waspinator's like, because Rat Trap's like, oh, we know, all right. It's your fault for not spying on the good guys. Remember, they can teleport and just spy on everyone. I guess they just didn't teleport to the Axelon.
I mean,
and Waspinator is like, how can we hear them so clearly? And Rat Tap's like, maybe whoever's in charge, wink, wink, of our reality has lost their mind.
Right.
This is the writer telling us that he's lost his mind.
And gives no fucks, basically.
And gives no fucks. So he's hanging a lantern on the conversation that he's almost breaking the fourth wall and telling us that he's lost his mind. And then Rat Trap's like, just kidding. It was just a prank, bro. Our external sensors are top of the line. That's how we can hear them. We're not even really sure if this secret weapon works. And then right after he says we're not even sure if it works, they shoot the other two. The other two Vok don't teleport away. Right. They don't like fire back. They just...
Their external sensors are so good that they can pick up like extra dimensional, like godlike beings
talking to each other or thinking to each other
that they couldn't detect before at any point.
It's okay. See me winking, guys? It's okay. Let's take care of the other two. No. And like, why is it just Rat Trap and Waspinator? Well, whatever. They save the day, apparently. And they give each other, and here's another wink at the camera, folks. They go, yeah, we did it. And I shit you not, Waspinator giving Rat Trap a thumbs up. They're giving each other thumbs up. He says, I didn't expect it to be over so quickly.
Hey, and then... What do you want? We don't get paid by the minute.
we get paid? That I feel like that's the writer in Rat Trap's seat, in the captain's seat, talking to the artists right there,
And the readers.
and the readers, and Waspinator being the artists being like, I didn't expect it to be over so quickly. And Rat Trap is being like, what do you want? We don't get paid by the minute. And the artists being like, we get paid?
So we got this big conflict that's been stretching out over multiple issues, and then like in the last few pages, it's like bang bang, and then the bad guy's dead.
The robots are fighting each other for like 10 pages, and then in like 2 panels, bang bang, they're dead.
Bang bang, and then the bad guy's dead, and like everything was really cool again, and like then Megatron got zapped into another dimension, and then everything was even more cool, and yeah, it's really cool, right?
I mean, that's what happens. He's not lying. Listeners, so Tigatron, because I don't know, he's spiritual or some shit.
It feels like something a child would write, honestly.
Yeah, you don't say.
Like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Rat Trap shows up with a big gun that goes boom, that just that just kills the bad guys, and it's like, all right, that was that.
Almost as bad as how the Vok were killed in Beast Wars.
Let's go drink some Orange Crush.
This issue has been brought to you by Orange Crush. So Tigatron's like, well, shit, they're dead.
They weren't supposed to die.
That's weird. Now what?
Big gulps, huh? Well,
cool.
See you later.
See ya. And so he's like, well, now what? And Primal's like, well, I guess we can come to an understanding. We don't have to fight.
And Tigatron is just like, well, no, actually, fuck you. We're gonna go off and do our thing, but we'll leave you alone as long as you leave us alone.
Right. Yeah. He's like, well, I respect your ferocity. So I guess, you just leave us alone. We'll leave you alone.
Yep. And so Megatron goes to attack Captain Ron.
Yeah. He's like, but I won't.
And then Rat Trap uses the deflector dish to like phase Galavar out of existence.
Yeah.
And Captain Ron
he uses the ship to shoot Galavar, and he's like, Primal's like, Rat Trap, what did you just do?
And apparently, like, Rat Trap, because he's not like an energy god or whatever, instead of like killing him, it like puts him into like a space-time pocket or some such bullshit.
Well, he's like, what did you do, Cheetor? What have you done? And he's like, what, you didn't want me to atomize your mortal enemy? My bad. He's like, Rat Trap, what did you do? Okay, you got me. You were too close to use any of the fun guns, so I just zapped him with the same unspace energy used on the Vok.
Better bring out the fun guns.
The fun
bang, bang.
guns.
Bang, bang, baby.
Since old Meggy's not an energy monster, the technical term for the Vok, he'll just reappear a few cycles into the future after we're long gone. He'll be fine, I think. Probably. But who cares, right?
Right? We're canceled anyway, baby. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Fuck you. Was I drinking beers or sucking dick? Nobody knows. So yeah, he turns to the camera and goes, who cares what happened to him?
So Captain Ron proposes that the Predacons join forces with the Maximals, and to really move things along.
Yeah,
Black Arachnia is basically
there's a lot of diplomacy.
Black Arachnia is like, no, like as soon as we leave, like we'll go our separate ways, but then the truce is over, and blah 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 blah.
Hand yourself in, and if you plead guilty, and I'll put in a good word for you, and you might get off with a light sentence. And the Predacons are like, fuck you. And it's like, okay, well, can we at least like work together and have a truce? No. And that doesn't make any sense to me.
And even Dinobot is like, yeah, so I am also a Predacon criminal, and I don't really want to go back either because I don't really believe, Captain Ron, I don't really believe your
Buddy, I
word.
love you.
I don't
But
believe your word holds as much sway in a court of law than you're making it out like it does. So,
I'm sure that
especially with
known accomplice to the terrorist Megatron is
especially
going to get a slap on the wrist.
especially with old Gallywanks like being like lost in some lost in some sort of like timey-wimey bullshit or
If you
whatever.
handed over the head of the terrorist organization, then maybe. But
But
without
they're gonna need a
Megsy,
scapegoat, and bro, like
oddly enough,
look at me, like it's gonna be me that they go.
it's
after.
gonna be me, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look at me, look at them, look at me. Like,
Look at my biceps.
yeah,
Look how tall I am. It's gonna be me.
yeah.
And Waspinator's like, and thanks for the fruit. And Scold and like Black Arachnia are like,
Ooh,
I like that Black Arachnia kind of spoke on behalf of the Predacons.
right,
Because that's like, yeah, she'd probably be a better leader
probably.
than Megsy. You know what's funny? The better writing is this politics at the end. Like maybe I don't know if there is any, but if there's a Law and Order comic, maybe our buddy Eric can go write for them.
Yeah, because he can't write sci-fi for shit.
Doon 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 doon. So what happens? They fly away. Oh, and Inferno shows up because fuck you. That's why. He shows up and they're like, Black Arachnia is like, oh shit, who are you? And he's like, my queen, my old queen is dead. Please accept me into your colony, and I will service you, milady.
I like her reaction. Yeah, whatever. You're hired.
Yeah, whatever. You're hired. Stand up. And they're like, now what? And they're like, yeah, we can't repair the dark side. We got no ships and no parts.
They look up at the weird like
Floating island.
floating island with the like Energon recombulator or whatever the fuck they called it.
Basically, in this verse, our buddy Eric decided that instead of one of the two moons, because there's not two moons here. Remember, early on, we're like, why is there one moon?
Right.
Or were there two? I don't fucking remember.
I don't know. I don't care.
Decided the floating island is going to be the giant Earth like world killing. Sorry, it wipes all the most of the life from the surface. It's going to be an island, so they're gonna do that. And then epilogue. 114 cycles later. Flash. 114 cycles. 114 hours.
114
Days?
minutes.
Years.
Days?
They're acting like it's a long time later, but if it's hours, that's like a few days later.
But then earlier they mentioned 2 cycles, like it wasn't very long.
But then they acted like 2 cycles was long because they're like, we spent 2 whole cycles making these weapons. I don't know, man. An entire Sunday afternoon.
An entire Sunday afternoon. There
So
we go.
2 Sunday afternoons later, at least. Megsy comes back and he's got a villain speech. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, Eric Burnham. This is how I know that you don't know your sci-fi writing. He says, I feel incorrect. This is clearly not the battlefield. So time passed for him immediately, presumably. Right. Computer, location, and diagnostic. And it says he's in the same planet that the dark side crashed. That's it. Unspace energy suggests I was sent through time. Yes, but not space. Okay, and then presumably if the planet keeps moving, right, he's like, the planet's revolution would continue and cause me to return to a different location. At least it wasn't in one of the oceans. But if the planet turning and he's in the same space in space-time, the planet would also be in a slightly different location going around the sun, which means he would be in space.
Yep.
Not just a different if it was a few minutes later, maybe you could pop up somewhere like else. But if you are saved in space-time at that one location and pop out, he would actually be in space.
Okay, so enemy of the show, Doesn't know how ants work.
Oh, right.
And now doesn't know how basic physics works.
I forgot about that. I forgot about the you don't know how ants work, asshole. How did that come up? You
Because
said my king or
he alluded to like multiple queens or something like that.
royalties.
Royalties,
Yeah,
right?
multiple. And it's just like, wait a second. No. There's one queen. Doesn't know how ants work. Doesn't know how time and space work. Doesn't know what beast mode is.
Doesn't know the grammatical fallacy that is alt modes.
He's afraid of saying beast mode. He'll get sued by
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, by a certain football player. So at the very end, it says the war may continue, but for us, for now, this is the end.
And thank fucking Christ.
So some of the things on the outro, there's Eric Burnham writes something. He says, "Dear bestie,"
I didn't bother reading it.
"Dear Beastie Bot besties, blah 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 blah. Reality is some of the plans changed. Blah blah blah. We put together a fun epic.
Blah 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 blah. We lost the license once and for all.
the Beast Wars license once and for all. We had to cut some of the pure character stories or beats. Want to know some of what those were going to be? I think I can share. Let's do it." The way he writes is so like self-aggrandizing here and masturbatory.
Right.
It just comes across as egotistical. Anyways, I'm digging into him too hard. Fuck me. Rat Trap's love of fruit was going to cause a glitch in the system. And when his expertise was needed most, it would be a race against time to save him. Scorponok was going to find a rival with Quick Strike, whose only goal was to replace him. Rhinox was going to be suspected as a Predacon mole, and Black Arachnia was going to take over the Predacons for a little while Megatron was taking off board, which we hinted at the end of this issue.
All but one of those things sounds dumb.
The Black Arachnia thing sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is, I don't fucking care. Why would it shows them eating food? Why would the fruit fuck him up and put a glitch in his system?
I was going to fight tooth and nail to get the original Dinobots, all of them, or at least
see that?
Grimlock, into the book with an exclamation mark. This is Beast Wars, man. This isn't fucking G1.
I was gonna say, why do we need the Dinobots?
Why do we need to shoehorn the Dinobots? And like, yeah, you can make the argument like, oh, well, they found the Autobot Arc and the Nemesis in Beast Wars, but like, whatever. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm done with this book. Here on
Usors, Tripedicus Council, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Here on that was episode 126 of Too Much Energon. And here on Too Much Energon, we rate whatever thing we're talking about on any given episode on the Too Much Energon scale, which ranges from not enough Energon to too much, or not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon to too much Energon. It's basically bad, okay, good. Cal, what are you giving the end, issue 17?
Not enough Energon. It's not. It doesn't make me, or maybe I've come to accept its death. But there's nothing rage-inducing in this one. Like, yeah. I'm not like angry. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Nothing happened, and we showed up, and I guess they just die.
Yeah.
And then they showed up, and they killed them, and the bad guys were dead, and then everyone was happy.
Yep.
What about you, Siege?
Same. Not enough Energon. I wasn't overly offended by this comic. I mean, no more than usual.
Isn't it funny that we have to?
We're at that point now.
We didn't hate it with such passion that we were angry about it.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah, this issue was just nothing. There was a bunch of dumb shit. There was nothing I liked about it.
A bunch of robots fought. The Vok died. Bunch of tongue-in-cheek, winking at the camera.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm eager to move on from this nonsense. So.
And yeah, indeed.
I'm just going to say not enough Energon. And indeed, that is the end of the comic book run of
We did it, folks.
Too Much Energon. We got through it. We started it last year, and well, here we are, born to be kings.
Especially now that our dark months are behind us, right? Yeah.
We've got but that's not the end of Too Much Energon. No. We've still got plenty more to come. And on that note, best way to support the show is go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. We're at the only single Gary tier. You get access to a exclusive podcast called the Super Lazorcomb Patreon Super Show. And you also get commentary tracks periodically and a bunch of other like random archival content. So if you want to get in on that, go to patreon.com/lazorcomb. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram or Threads at Christopher Siege. Cal, where can people find you?
I used to lead people to the Twitter, but like I never posted. I think I posted once in like 4 months. Same thing. Cal Hella, which is also my Xbox handle.
Oh.
So now you know my PlayStation and my Xbox handle. Yeah, KALHALLA.
His Xbox handle he hasn't signed into since the 360 days.
How dare you?
If you want to follow me on Xbox, I am on there. My gamer tag is Lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. I am actually fairly active on there because I have an Xbox
I'm more
Series
active
X.
on Threads than Twitter.
Yeah.
Until it dies or people get bored of it. I don't know. TikTok. There you go. NeoCal on TikTok.
We'll be back in roughly about 2.5 weeks with the 3rd anniversary special of Too Much Energon. We've been at this for 3 years now, folks. And because Transformers Rise of the Beasts is now available on digital, I thought this was a great opportunity. That the stars kind of aligned perfectly. What better way to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of Too Much Energon than to talk about the live action big screen debut of Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rhinox, and Airraiser, and even Scorponok. Then to
making their debut on the silver screen.
Then to for the 3rd upcoming episode of Too Much Energon, episode 127 is going to be a spoiler cast about Transformers Rise of the Beast. We're going to be going full spoilers, folks. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely watch it before you listen to that podcast. Or if you're like me and don't care about spoilers, then listen to the podcast and decide whether you want to watch the movie or not. Yeah. But anyway, until then, I've been The Siege, one of your hosts.
And I am woefully, and I am mercifully done with the comic books NeoCal.
And until next time, stay beastly.
Stay beastly and alt mode.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's our story from Gladiator Arena, Los Angeles, California. For Larry Zonka, I'm Mike Adamley. See you again next week for more exciting semi-final action.